The following portion of Good Day PA is sponsored by Lancaster EMS. Lancaster EMS's mission is to provide comprehensive, skillful, and cost-effective emergency and non-emergency healthcare services. One way is through CPR education. Now, offering that education right here today is Bob Hollinger. Now, before we get to the demonstration, give me some background. How long has Lancaster EMS been part of the community?
Lancaster EMS started back in 1996. It initially grew out of St. Joseph's Hospital and Community Hospital in Lancaster. When they stopped doing ALS service, Lancaster EMS was formed by their consolidation. A year later, East Lampeder Ambulance joined us, and then we began BLS and transport services. So quite a while.
How busy are you? Like, how many calls do you go on a year?
We do about 51,000 requests for services every year. Now, that's not just 911 calls. That's also calls from the hospital to do transports, but we are one of the busier services in Pennsylvania.
And you mentioned the 911 calls and the transport, but aside from those things, you are offering a lot of services to the Lancaster County community. I think people wouldn't realize that you do. Can you talk about some of those things?
Yeah, so not only do we do the 911 services, but folks, once they get discharged from the hospital, they may need to get to an extended care facility. So we do transports from hospital to extended care facilities. On a regular basis, people need chemo and radiation therapy, they need dialysis treatment, etc., and they can't always just get in a car and go.
Sure.
So we do wheelchair transports, or if they're unable to be in a wheelchair, litter transports to get them to their appointments and then back either home, to the hospital, to the extended care facility.
I always think of EMS as being like responding to something that's happening, but I understand you do preventative care.
We do. We have a community paramedic program, and the goal of that is really to keep people out of the hospital. So we partner with the hospitals when they have a patient that gets discharged. Perhaps they have a history of congestive heart failure or kidney disease. Our paramedics and EMTs go to their home, and we do everything from just vital sign checks, making sure blood pressure is staying within the normal limits, medication reconciliation, making sure that they're taking the medications that they're prescribed, immunizations, blood draws, whatever the doctor may want them to do. But it's a little bit social services as well, because we'll have patients, we'll have clients that may not be able to get to a doctor's appointment because of lack of transportation. So our community paramedics work with those patients and work with social services in order to get them where they need to be.
And something else you do is you do training.
We do.
So CPR training. I feel like this has gotten easier and easier over the years, and so there's no excuse for us not to know how to do it.
Correct. It used to be pretty convoluted, and you were always told you better make sure that somebody is in cardiac arrest before you started doing chest compressions. Now we really want everybody to know, and it really only takes a couple minutes to learn basic hands-on CPR.
Can you show us in the next 30 seconds?
Absolutely. So if you notice that somebody suddenly collapses in front of you, first thing to do is we want to make sure it's safe. We want to make sure we don't become another victim. We're going to check, and we're going to look at their chest for breathing for just 5 to 10 seconds. If we don't see any breathing, we're going to place our hands lower half of their chest, and we're just going to pump hard and fast. We're going to try to do 100 to 120 compressions each minute, and we're going to try to push down at least 2 minutes. We also want to get help on the way, so direct somebody, call 911, grab your cell phone out, put it on speakerphone, 911.
Very good. You have some events coming up.
We do. Tomorrow on Penn Square in Lancaster, we have a CPR demonstration right around the lunchtime hour. We have on Wednesday at Clipper Stadium from 11 to 1, we have infant and child seat checks. And then on Wednesday night at St. Joseph's University in Lancaster, we have a film called Honorable But Broken that's going to show EMS in crisis right now.
Wow, interesting. Wow, okay, check that out. Thank you so much. Good to have you on with us. Thanks for everything you're doing in the community. It's pretty remarkable, actually. The previous portion of Good Day PA was sponsored by Lancaster EMS.